Hello, and welcome to In DC Today. I'm your host, Crystal. Today, we will talk to three challengers in the race for the at-large DC Council seat held by Anita Bonds. Our first candidate is Marcus Goodwin. Welcome, Mr. Goodwin.
Good evening. How are you, Crystal?
I'm great. How are you?
Great.
Good. And thank you for stopping by
Thank you
to
very much
have
for
a
having me
conversation.
this evening.
Thank you. So let's start. Let's jump right in. I
Great.
have you for about 7 minutes or so.
Great.
Okay. So why now? Why this seat and why now?
I'm running against, as you mentioned, Councilwoman Chairwoman Bonds, Chair of the Housing Committee.
Okay.
I work in housing. I've worked more profoundly in financing housing projects in the district than anyone else who's been on DC Council.
Interesting.
I'm bringing that kind of experience to the council so that we have perspective in building more affordable housing and helping our native population continue to prosper in this economic prosperity we see around the district.
Okay. And so your background is in real estate.
Correct.
I think you're the first candidate that I've spoken to that have that background. Normally, I guess real estate agents have such a negative connotation now in the district. How will you change that perception as council member, at-large council member, because of your background and your interest in helping district residents?
Well, I look at our biggest tool for producing affordable housing, and it's called the Housing Production Trust Fund.
Okay.
Since 2001, the trust fund has invested $622 million of our tax dollars in the district.
Okay.
We've only gotten 10,000 units out of it,
Really?
but that's how many residents we get every year.
Okay.
So the city alone can't do the job, even with this immense investment.
Okay.
What I want to see the city do is launch public-private partnerships
Okay.
so that we leverage our private sector that's very efficient in building affordable housing and help them create enough supply so that we keep people here.
Okay.
We have our most vulnerable population being seniors and African Americans, who are the first who are forced to leave the district. If we can create solutions that I'm proposing, as member of council, I will ensure that we start to stem the tide and create more economic prosperity for all people.
Okay. And in addition to housing, what are some of the other departments that you have your eyes set on that you know that will make a huge impact within this role as at-large council member?
Well, I like to focus a lot on education in schools.
Okay.
From pre-K 3 through 6th grade,
Okay.
I started at John Quincy Adams Elementary School. I was there for 8 years, and so were 4 of my siblings.
Okay.
Of the 8 kids in my family, 4 graduated from public schools and 4 from private schools. And my mother is a DCPS teacher at Lafayette Elementary.
Wonderful.
I know we can do better with schools. We've seen in my family that one generation of positive educational investment will yield a lot of economic mobility. I want to see more of that. I want to see young people born on Martin Luther King Avenue, where my father lives,
Yes.
have just as much opportunity as young people born on Massachusetts Avenue. And by bringing more oversight into schools and tracking our performance standards and metrics, tracking the tests that students take,
Right.
we can start to see when people are falling behind across certain demographics and invest more in those grades.
All right. And so let's talk about economics.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I think the statistics are quite startling in terms of our younger employees or those that are seeking employment opportunities
Right.
that are without jobs.
Yeah.
How will you help them? How will you secure a space for them in the district and let them grow with their families, you know, and pursue what we consider this pursuit of happiness that is actually reachable?
That's a great question because I've seen in my own family that my brother was part of an employment program through the District of Columbia where young people from Wards 7 and 8 were given training in computer science and computer programming. And then they were promised at least 6 months of employment at a number of employers in the district, among them Capital One and
Yeah.
Microsoft. In that program, he got to pivot to a career opportunity that he otherwise would have had no exposure to,
okay.
especially young African Americans in the district.
Absolutely.
I want to see more investments like that.
Okay.
If we can invest more in workforce development and job training, we can start to change the economic circumstances of the city, especially east of the river.
Okay.
And
That's where you're focused.
that's where I'm
you're
focused.
Okay.
I'm also focused on creating more opportunities for the city to leverage its balance sheet to borrow money to give to people creating economic prosperity in areas that haven't seen it.
Okay.
When we see Ward 7 and 8 that only have 3 grocery stores today, but in 2010 they had 7 full-service grocery stores, we need to start leveraging the city's balance sheet to make those kind of capital investments.
All right. That's an interesting point. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that.
2 Safeways in Ward 7 and a Giant in Ward 8.
Just one Giant.
Correct.
In
For
the entire
76,000
Ward 8.
residents. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what other events or community activities are you involved with?
I'm involved in creating youth financial literacy programs and classroom teaching experiences for young people in the Adams Morgan community.
Okay.
I think it's great that a lot of people in the city, even members of our council, give gifts around the holiday times.
Yes.
But I want to invest in intellectual capital, gifts that people keep with them forever, especially young people that are at a pivotal moment and have to learn about investing in their future and investing in their education.
Okay. And what about legislation? That's the fun part. You know,
Well,
say if you
yep.
do gain the confidence of the residents here in the district,
Yep.
what legislative policies would you like to implement? What would be the top? What would be the top policy, the top topic that will be on your list?
I'd focus on allowing people to be able to continue to afford to stay in D.C. with property tax relief for longtime homeowners. People like my mother, whose homes they bought for $80,000 that now have taxable assessments over $500,000.
Okay. Wow. And so what else would you like for the district to know about you? I asked you earlier about just what is a typical day like? You know, you
Well,
started this race back in September.
Yep.
So what has been the experience like
I think
for you?
when you get this level of busy, the first thing you lose is your discipline in your diet and your exercise.
Okay.
So I always start off my morning with a run, and then I get out to create some kind of morning exposure to people
Yeah.
by getting out and showing signs, handing out one-pagers,
You're utilizing social media?
utilizing social media, but creating morning visibility.
Okay.
And then I get into the computers once that's done, and people are usually settled into work.
Yes.
I
Very
email everyone. I follow through with people who've donated and contributed. Then we're out on doors in the afternoon.
Okay.
When people start to get home from work or
And
when
revving that
seniors are there
engine.
during the day.
Okay.
And in the evenings, we're always at community events.
Okay. So tell me in 10 seconds or less why people should cast their vote for you in
Because
June.
DC needs someone who's focused on economic prosperity for all people, and I'm the most qualified for the seat on council.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
This
so
was
much for having me.
amazing, and I want to wish you the best of luck. And I will definitely be following you.
Thank you very
on
much.
social media, the millennials.
At Goodwin for DC.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Crystal.
All right.
Have a good evening.
I would like to thank you for coming today. Again, like I mentioned, and I wish you the best on your campaign. Don't go away. We'll be right back.